What is up, my floops? I am back with another video, and today we are talking about mods. Yes, I am basically being very particular with this subject and topic because there hasn't been mods in basically 2 years. Ever since EAC was implemented, mods basically died off because no one could mod the game. And yes, VRChat basically absolutely hated mods. These mods were basically aimed at bettering the performance, the experience, and fixing issues for the user. Which, back then, VRChat did not have that many features within the game. And even if people did request the features, it would still take a long time for them to come back and say, hey, we added this, we did not listen to the community. It made it seem like they weren't really listening at all to the community, and mods were the only way to better the user experience because that's what people prefer. Even I myself did that. Even several other people I knew did that. Mods we used that were non-malicious would basically better the game itself than, doing something totally awry. So basically, this video, we're not only just talking about mods, basically a short list of the few mods that actually existed within the game that, in my opinion, improved the user's experience. So, alright, so to kick off this list, we have Advanced Safety. What it did was set hard limits on avatar features such as polygon count, audio sources, and some other things. It reduced crashes, improved performance, removed annoying spawns, sounds, or global sounds, removed some full screen effects. Avatar over the limit are not replaced by a gray robot. Instead, elements over limits are removed with the rest of the avatar kept intact. Hide all avatars of a specific author. Hide a specific avatar no matter who uses it. And hide portals from blocked users or non-friends. And check downloaded avatars for corruption and prevent crashes from them. Basically, this was a very big thing that majority of the people used. That's why it's the first on this list, because basically it improved performance, it reduced crashes, and it also set limits on avatars, which basically you now can do within VRChat because they just added it recently as the making of this video. They're still adding stuff. I'm pretty sure if people bring more stuff to mind, more will be added later on down the road, but it really did help a lot of people in that regard. Next up, we have Camera Minus, which basically back in the day with Camera Minus, this kind of mod, you wouldn't have this kind of camera, but basically you had this gray camera with buttons that looked like a toy. It looked completely awful, and basically it didn't have that many features with it. You couldn't resize the camera, you couldn't zoom in and out, and you could not hide the camera lens. Not as much as you could do with the camera you now have, which basically you could zoom in and out, you have autofocus, you have look at me, tons of more features that were added within the future camera update that VRChat took all the feedback from the user base and said, hey, we'll better improve it. So what Camera Minus did was, like I said, allowed resizing of the camera, zooming in and out, and hiding the camera lens. This was a big plus for people. It really did improve a lot of things, and I most certainly loved it, but, I used it because it bettered the camera itself. It wasn't basically just kind of useless. Next up, we have IK Tweaks, which is basically for full-body people who had trouble with full-body tracking. So what this mod offered was a customized spine solver for full-body tracking and a few IK-related tweaks, featuring alternate spine solver for full body, that FTP that people know and love. The alternate solver can basically bend the spine and more than lock one but less lock both modes. Flexible configuration for said solver, allowing you to fine-tune IK for your avatar and preferences. Remote players see the IK too. There's no mismatch between what you and others see. Stop freezing in walls and tables or anywhere near them. Say goodbye to locomotion animations on all avatars if you hate them. Adjust hand offsets so your virtual hands can line up better with your real ones. Tune up some aspects like IK 2.0 with pesky elbow torso avoidance that sometimes makes your elbows go places, and most features are compatible with 3 or higher IK with 2.0. So this, I will say, was a major mod that helped improve a lot of things. Basically, now in VRChat, all of these features are within the game. You can basically lock both modes. You can stop certain animations from moving even if you're in full body, or even with Go Loco. There is a feature on that as well where you could stop animations like the walking animation of your avatar and just stand completely solid like a statue if you're in full body. I don't know why people in half body would even actually do that or consider doing it, but it doesn't make any sense. Next up was the Join Notifier, a VRChat mod to notify you when someone joins the instance you're in. It featured visual and audio notifications, toggleable per instance type, can set to highlight friends or show any only friends, custom join or leave sounds, and yada yada yada. So now, like I said, this was a mod basically 2 or 3 years ago that was used to notify you of a friend who joined or who did not join. Nowadays, people can actually see this. Quest users can see it, and so can PC users. VRChat added the feature into the game because we all needed it. We wanted to know who joined the game. Who wouldn't want to know who joined their instance inside of a homeworld, you know? You're God. Lag-free screenshots. So this mod significantly improves the screenshot taking performance for handheld camera in VR and F12 key in desktop mode. The benefits are especially noticeable with higher resolution screenshots, 4K and 8K. Additional features include: you can set your screenshots to be saved as JPEG files instead of PNG to save on file size. Automatically rotate screenshots so that proper side faces up, like your real phone. So this was also a feature that VRChat added later on. Now the camera has 4K and 8K options that you can take with the camera. It still lags, but every time you actually use the camera, this mod, back in the day when you used 8K or something to a higher degree, it would basically lag the shit out of the game. So basically, these lag-free screenshots, this mod, it would basically work with all of them. And what it did was basically it reduced it significantly to the point where it wouldn't necessarily lag the game, but also make it better if you wanted to take 4K or 8K pictures within VR or desktop mode. Next up was particle and bone limiter settings. This mod provide a UI for changing VRChat's built-in dynamic bones, now fizz bones, and particle limiter settings. So this mod basically changed the dynamic bone system within VRC to better improve the performance. And even if it doesn't, it was better than nothing. Next up, ScaleGoesBur. This mod adds proper support for scale sliders on AV3 avatars that have them. Proper support includes proper scaling, your play space and viewpoint in VR, including in FTP, full body. So the avatar functions are the same way as you scaled it in Unity and adjusted the viewpoint. So this is also a feature in VRChat where now you don't have to rescale your avatar within Unity, which you way back then you had to do like all the time if you wanted it to be a certain size. Now you could basically do it with the turn dial on your quick menu on your hand, which is really better. VRChat listens, so it's much more better. You can't go infinitely amounts higher. It's got limits, but it's better than nothing. StyleAtour. So this mod was pretty cool. What it did was that it would allow you to reskin your quick menu, basically recolor it into different styles. And you know, many people wanted this. I didn't want it because I just wanted that green effect on it. I mean, I'm used to that. I don't need a reskin, but I mean, it was a cool feature. Next up, we have True Shader Anti-Crash. So this mod was a big plus for performance. What it did was that it prevented practically all known shader crashes. So that's what it means, True Shader Anti-Crash. If there were too many shaders to keep the user from crashing, that's what you would need. Next up is the Turbones, which this mod significantly sped up dynamic bones by optimizing collision checks, the simulation code, and optionally providing multi-threading. So what this featured was highly efficient collision checks, optimized dynamic time step, simulation code, an option for multi-threading dynamic bone simulation, no more weird twitching or jerkiness, collision feedback API for other mods so it could work with the other mods, and basically integrates seamlessly with VRChat's dynamic bone limiter, which is fizz bones. Again, now the performance is a lot better with fizz bones because they had dynamic bones back in the day. You had to buy it off of the Unity asset store, which was like a pain in the ass because it was like $20. Now you don't have to. They integrated it in their own, which is a huge plus. But this is what people would use to better improve the performance whenever it came to basically dynamic bones feeling a little jerky. And every time you moved a certain frame, it would basically jerk. Like it would turn into, the ears and hair were turned into a very glitchy, messed up state. And last but not least, we have the UI expansion kit. So this mod, you had to have it. It provided additional UI panels for use by other mods and a unified mod settings UI. This was what everyone needed, basically, to add more panels for more mods to make better use for the menu that you had on your hand, or basically within the quick menu. So if you didn't have this, pretty much, you were pretty much like the mods weren't going to work properly. But yes, that's a whole list of the mods. I wish I could go down a whole lot more. There's a lot more on here that I can explain, but those were some of the very few that I could find on a list that I remember off of that were very, very useful for back in the day. Basically, these were non-malicious. They were very helpful when VRChat was in its early stages. It helped me. It helped a lot of people who were just coming into VR back in the pandemic in 2020. And you know, it's really good to look back and say, hey, I remember these mods. They were very useful. But, you know, as times go on and they change, there's really not much you can do, and basically time moves forward. Now VRChat has all of these features, like I said, within the game, even more to come, and basically they improved it a lot more. It's better than what it was beforehand, but it can still be improved upon. So anyways, that's all I got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you all in the next one. Stay possum, and you all have a good one. Bye.